Today, we're exploring the Bandai-Namco Cross Store at Sunshine City in Ikebukuro, Tokyo. This store is a total paradise for fans of anime, manga, and video games, as well as classics from Bandai and Namco's rich histories. From retro games like Pac-Man to the latest release of Gundam, this store has it all. Located in the heart of Ikebukuro, just a few minutes walk from the station, this shop offers an incredible experience with a wide range of exclusive merchandise, interactive displays, and special events. This is one of the biggest shops I've been to in Tokyo, even bigger than any Nintendo store or Pokemon Center I've seen. I've discovered so many awesome things here, so what do you say we go ahead and get right into it? Alright, so starting off at the entrance of the store, of course you've got your big Bandai-Namco Cross Store sign. And you're going to go ahead and walk through these arches, and you're going to see some little displays here with various collectibles in them, and some big screens behind there showing the little Gashapon factory animation. And of course you've got your Pac-Man and your two ghosts in front of you. And this is like the main entrance, the main lobby, where you can go any direction to all of the little miniature stores within this store. So you've got your one-piece card game, your cafe, your arcade. And then you've also got Tamashii Nations. On the left you've got the Bandai hobby shop. And we are going to go ahead and start off with a little walkthrough of this Tamashii Nations booth. So starting off here, you can see a lot of figures, and that's going to be something that you're going to see a lot of in the shop. Just lots and lots of figures, toys, both action figures, figures for playing with, as well as painted, more high-end figures, as well as model kits. You can see here you've got Sandland. And there's so many different franchises here. There's a lot of stuff that I am familiar with for sure, but also there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm not familiar with, so please forgive me. But you've got some Gundam up there, some robot Tamashii below. And moving on to this end cap, you've got some super deformed anime figures. Lots and lots of variety. Some Demon Slayer. Over here you've got some Kamen Rider, as well as some Ultraman, some Godzilla, Super Sentai, lots and lots of different stuff. One Piece, there's a ton of One Piece in the shop. That's going to be a recurring theme. I wanted to walk closer to this display, but unfortunately it was reacting poorly with my camera. A few of the displays do that, they're going to flicker. I apologize for that, but basically the fluorescent lights don't play well with the 60 FPS that I record at. So some more One Piece here. And this cute little Dragon Ball display, which I thought was really fun. And now there's a Megahouse on the left. We're going to take a look at that later. Right now we're going to make a quick pass through this Dragon Ball card game booth. I thought this was so interesting. So they have a really big display for the Dragon Ball Z card game, or I think it's actually just called Dragon Ball card game. And they have computers set up where you can play the digital version of the game. And you can see here I'm kind of just messing around with it to see if it was free, if you had to log in or what. And you seem to be able to just play. Of course, it is going to be in Japanese, so, that language barrier is probably going to be an issue for a lot of folks. But I thought it was cool nonetheless. I like to think of this not just as what can I do here at the store, but just, I don't know, what would it be like if these things existed back in the States? Of course, they've got this big area here for playing with the paper card game. And then across from that, you've got this premium Bandai Showroom, which is very cool, and I've not seen any other premium Bandai showrooms in Japan, so it was a first seeing this. Lots of unique items here that I had not seen before. I think these are inks that go with that little pen there. You've got some Godzilla figures. Very nice. as well as these Tamagotchi, which are the biggest Tamagotchi I've seen. Those were huge. And then you've got some t-shirts here, some really cool full print graphic tees. As well as, I think these are, I can't tell if they're towels or posters from the video. I think they look like towels, but I could be wrong there. And these are a big favorite of mine. So these are a series of Pokemon figures that are actually to scale, which is just so cool. I wish it was something we'd see more of in Pokemon, because scale is such a big part of Pokemon, that whole world. Like the Pokedex, it always includes the information on height and weight and all that stuff, and figures generally go super off scale, so that was cool. You got some Hunter x Hunter stuff here, some Gundam Breaker, some Kirby, which was a surprise to me, seeing so much Kirby stuff here, given that it is a Bandai-Namco store. And these really awesome Demon Slayer replica swords, katana. Those are so cool to me. They're super expensive, but they're very cool. Now, this next area here, we are getting into just some random odds and ends. So this is like a bath bomb store. I'm pretty sure it's all soaps and bath bombs and things like that, based on different anime franchises, game franchises, and things like that. So I don't know, it's just like a neat little thing if you wanted to get a souvenir for yourself or a gift for someone. So moving on here to the Megahouse store. It is Megahouse, and they also have a Mega Cat project. I love this little neon sign. So these are basically cat versions of all of the Megahouse figures. And yeah, just a huge variety of these SD figures you're going to see all throughout Japan, but also all throughout this store in the United States, or just I could maybe say in the West. We have, Funko Pops and then Nendroids, which of course are from Japan. But here they have such a big variety of all these different brands of super deformed figures. So you're going to get lots and lots of variety. Seeing some Yu-Gi-Oh! And Sailor Moon here. Moving over this way, some Naruto. Couple franchises I'm not super familiar with. And then finishing off with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Duel Monsters as they are known in Japan. And now we are at the Bandai Spirits Hobby Shop. I'm sure a lot of you were waiting to see this section, so this is where they keep the majority of the model kits, not all of them, but this is where they keep the majority of the Bandai model kits especially. And you're going to see a lot of variety here. You're going to also see some accessories, like some nippers and things like that. Some accessory packs, 30 minutes missions, some water slide decals. And walking through here, you're going to see they've got your 30 minutes missions. Lots and lots of those. And also a lot of Dragon Ball kits. A really nice variety, including some that I haven't really seen around too often, like that Cell. And then moving on, you've got some variety here. So you've got like your Digimon, your Kamen Rider. This is kind of like a miscellaneous section. And then more miscellaneous here, right? Your Kirby, Doraemon, Detective Conan. Just various franchises here, and some One Piece with that awful flickering fluorescent light. And yeah, lots of Pokemon model kits. This was really nice to see, including some that I was not aware of there were even kits for. I think they had, I don't know, I don't want to go as far as to say this is like the full set of Bandai Pokemon figures, or Pokemon model kits, I should say, but it felt like if it wasn't the full set, it was very, very close. All right, now we are entering Narikiri World Store Tokyo. This is one of the more unique sections here at the Bandai Namco Cross Store, and it's probably one of my personal favorite sections. And basically what you're going to find here are various 2-scale replicas of different items that appear in all kinds of franchises, from, live action shows to anime to video games, manga, everything. And you're going to see a lot of stuff that is along the lines of, Super Sentai, Ultraman, Kamen Rider, things like that. But there's a wide variety, and you're going to see some other stuff peppered in there as well. So if you're not a fan of, those first 3 main ones I said, like Kamen Rider, Ultraman, Super Sentai, don't worry. It's still worth digging through. There's a few other interesting items that you're going to find that I'm going to show here in a minute, and we're going to look at together. So of course, here's some Kamen Rider belts. Shin Kamen Rider. And they've also got these backdrops, this little photo spot, which is cool if you want to take your photo in front of some of these. And it's actually AR, so you scan a QR code and there's some AR features. This is one of my favorite things, the replica Ryu's gloves from Street Fighter. Those are so cool. Such a cool item. Some Ultraman stuff here, some Digimon as well. Yu-Gi-Oh! Cool Digi devices. And then you've got some Super Sentai stuff. And this is really cool. I'm not familiar with this franchise, but I just thought it was such a cool little kind of cell phone looking device. And a replica Hatsune Miku's headset, which is just an, interesting little oddity. And then the Millennium Ring replica from Yu-Gi-Oh! Very, very cool stuff. You've got some more Super Sentai. A few pieces I'm not familiar with, but fans are probably very excited to see. Just lots and lots and lots of variety here. And so some of it is for sale. We're going to pass the little shop area at the end, but I don't think all of it is for sale. Oh, this is a fun little spot. So this is a touch and try area. And I thought of touching and trying the gloves, but then I thought about how many people have probably done that before me, and I decided to pass on wearing the gloves. And yeah, so this is the little shop. So you'll see like most of the items, it's pretty straightforward based on what's on the box, but there's a few items for sure that are not on sale right now, or if they were on sale, they're sold out. But yeah, that's Narikiri World. So next up, we have a quick little pass at Shop Nui. This is just a stuffed animal shop. Some cute little stuffed animals up there on the wall. And then you've got the Charanics shop. This is an interesting one we're going to take a walk through. I was really surprised at how much Kirby merchandise they had here. And this shop specializes in, it's kind of like a weird mix of household goods as well as stuffed animals. So here you've got a little Kirby kitchen timer, which I was really tempted to pick up. And then here you've got some, I think this is like a heated pillow, a Kirby heated pillow. Some other different cooking stuff for making waffles and things like that. As you can see, licensed waffle makers are very, very popular here. And then you've got this nice little Animal Crossing section with lots of little stationery, notebooks, carrying cases, things of that nature. Some more cute little collectibles. And some Moomin stuff that's very popular here as well. And they had this really big Tamagotchi wall. So I don't know if you grew up during the 90s, but if you did, you probably remember Tamagotchi as well as Digimon were super huge. And it feels like there's been a bit of a resurgence lately in Japan. I've seen all over lots of different stores, lots of new Tamagotchi kind of revival merch. So it's fun to look through that. And then here we're going to move toward the event area. So first up we have the Idolmaster official shop, which was unfortunately not open. Again, I came here very early in the morning, just a few minutes after the store opened, so not everything was in full swing yet, but they've got this event area here. And as you move over, there's some additional event areas, and right now they've got Gundam Seed Freedom, the experience, as well as a Bleach 1000-Year Blood War experience. So we're going to take a look through the Gundam Seed display first. Very cool exterior. I love these little haro lights on the floor. Very fun. And they've got a lot of these standees. A lot of this experience is designed around creating environments for you to take selfies or pictures with your friends. And then this area on the left is the Archangel Locker Room experience. So I'm not 100% sure what the experience is exactly, but I'm assuming based on similar events that I've been aware of in the past that it's either probably a quiz style game or an escape room style game related to the anime or the movie, where you can potentially win prizes or things like that. Typically that's what they tend to be, but either way it's cool they've got something like that for the fans. So just lots of artwork along the walls. And then here they've got a roulette that you can play to win various prizes. And yeah, it's mostly just a lot of artwork, but finally we're going to get to the merch here. I was a little bit disappointed with the merch, to be honest. It just felt like, just like a lot of plastic or a lot of junk to me. There were a few cool things if you're a big fan, like that towel there. But a lot of them were these clear character figures, which I'm just not the biggest fan of. I don't really understand the appeal. Keychains are cool, as well as like a tote bag. I think that's something cool that you could, use in a practical sense. And moving on to the Bleach 1000-Year Blood War event, I was so excited when I saw that they had this, because I'm just going to pause here and say, if you guys haven't watched this, watch this anime. It's my top anime of 2023. It's incredible. Okay, that being said, obviously it's my top anime of last year, so I was very hyped, and I think it was a little bit more impressive to me than the Gundam Seed event. You have these two nice standees of Ichigo and Ishida, and then you've got a lottery here, which I think is a little bit more fun looking than the Gundam Seed Roulette, which was on a TV screen. They've got this cone and it kind of spins around, and they've also got this Kurotsuchi, another little lottery spinner. And staff will be back here a little bit later in the day, and you can pay to play and then win a prize. And they had these cool black butterflies hung all throughout the space, which I thought was a really nice touch. You've got a nice big backdrop here to take a photo in front of. And then turning over this way, you've got standees of all the major characters, also probably to take photos in front of. But either way, they're cool. Cool to look at. You've got a TV here playing some teasers. And then you've got the anime goods section. So some blind bags for little buttons. Just a few little odds and ends. I was a little disappointed. There was nothing that I really felt like I needed to buy. Some figures, at least. I think, again, this is a bit of a step up from the Gundam booth. I think they could have had some I don't know, some model kits or figures or something in that booth. But yeah, overall, I just was really happy to see a nice presence for this anime, which I sadly feel kind of went under a lot of people's radar. And then some nicer figures over here on display from Tamashii Nations. Very cool Ichigo figures. And some additional merch here. I'm just a huge fan of the Bleach 1000 Year Blood War logo. I think it's such a cool logo, and I was really hoping for a poster, but unfortunately they did not have one. Okay, and next up we have the Bandai Candy official shop, where you're going to find, you guessed it, lots and lots of candy. Of course, featuring lots of Bandai franchises, but you're also going to find a lot of non-Bandai stuff as well, including some Nintendo stuff. Yeah, lots and lots of variety. And you're also going to see candy toys. So if you're not familiar with candy toys, it's basically what it sounds like. It's a piece of candy that comes with a small, inexpensive toy. Over here, they also had some larger toys in this section, which was interesting to me, but generally they would be surrounded by smaller candy toys. So some Gundam stuff, some One Piece with that really large devil fruit, some Evangelion, some Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, lots and lots of fun candy toys. This area would make a really great place to find souvenirs if you have any, kids, younger siblings, or even just friends. Some Pikmin candy there. Okay, and moving on to Ichibankuji. This was a really cool store. This was one of my favorite displays. And here you've got some nice higher end figures from lots of different franchises. And a lot of these were quite large. So some of them I would say are around that like 6-inch figure mark. But they definitely go up to like 8-inch, 12-inch. Some of them even seem like they were maybe like 16-inch figures. And these are going to be a little bit more expensive, of course, but they do look really, really nice. You got your One Piece. Of course, we went through some Dragon Ball, some Evangelion here. All the different Evas. And you've got some cool Naruto figures. And some more Dragon Ball, the different Friezas, Goku, Gohan, Krillin. And then they've got this section back here that had a lot of stuff. I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't quite familiar with it. There were a few pieces here and there where I was familiar with the franchise, but these just seemed like kind of odds and ends here. And then going back toward the entrance, we're passing that One Piece card game, and you make a left, and you're going to walk through this arcade section. Here you've got some fuzzy Pokemon plush, which I had never seen before. Really cute fuzzy Squirtles. And they also had these Combies, which were just absolutely adorable. Their little smiling faces. And you've got some Dragon Ball prize figures. And you can just see, compared to that last booth we were at, just the difference in quality. And that's not to take anything away from, Crane Game prize figures. They're fun too. So lots and lots of Crane Games here. Some Donald Duck butts, which are kind of funny. And moving this way, oh, you've got this guy, which is really popular. I see everyone with keychains and little plushies of that guy. And of course, your Crane Game selection would not be complete without some snack Crane Games. And then we'll just take a look at a few more before we go to the next section. Some Pac-Man, of course. We are at the Bandai-Namco arcade. And some Shin-Chan. As well as some more Shin-Chan. And we're going to take a turn. And this is my favorite area. I found this by surprise. I did not know it was here. I totally stumbled upon it, and I'm just so happy I did. Of course, here at the front, you've got those big statues. And then you've got some old school anime merch from Cowboy Bebop to Gundam to some just various old school anime franchises, City Hunter. I don't know why this is in the back. Maybe they think those old school anime fans are gonna go digging for it, and they want the new stuff that sells the most up in the front. Really cool. They actually had this Gundam DX figure, which blew my mind. I've never seen one in person, but this is the very first Gundam toy action figure anything ever made. So that's a cool little piece of history. And as you can see here, it's kind of like half museum, half store. And we're going to look through some of those museum pieces here. Lots of vintage stuff. It was so fun for me to look through this. Votoms, Dogram. Of course, I'm going to be honest, a few things I'm not familiar with. But I just love that old school anime aesthetic. Again, like I've said before, a handful of franchises that I'm not familiar with. But even though I'm not familiar with them, it was just still a blast to go through and look at all the different figures and model kits and toys and things like that. Tons of figures, some body pillows. It looks like some pieces for cosplay. And now this section really blew my mind. This is like the coolest Dunbine display I've ever seen. It's even cooler than any of the Dunbine displays that I saw at the Shizuoka Hobby Show, which if you haven't watched my video on that, I'm going to put a link to it. But yeah, that Dunbine display was awesome. We've got some Elgheim, some more Dunbine stuff, as well as some plushies for Cowboy Bebop, and some Dirty Pair model kits below. But yeah, I was so tempted by those Cowboy Bebop plushies, and they had even more over here, including some small scale ones. Really, really cool stuff. Some Ideon. I think that newspaper piece is very cool. Some more plushies here. This area has so much cool stuff. And they've got some additional model kits here as well as paint, which I was really surprised to see. So I'm assuming they kind of hid these in the back also because these are not all of these are Bandai model kits. Some of these are, some are Bandai, but some are also Good Smile. So maybe that's why. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's because it fits with the whole theme of, a lot of this is old school stuff, but a nice selection. And some additional anime merch here. Some Cowboy Bebop vinyl records, which were expensive. They had the CD as well, which was less expensive. I really thought about picking one of these up, but I decided to pass on it. But I love that Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. Believe in Your Orange. I'm not sure what anime this is from. If anybody knows, if you guys can leave a comment letting me know what anime that's from, I would love to know. And here, this was so fun. So they had a bunch of different merch here, and then they had Cowboy Bebop perfume and cologne. I had to go ahead and buy the Faye Valentine perfume. It's just such an interesting collectible. I could not help myself, and I picked up one. And they had a Julia version as well, which is such a fun, random oddity that will probably just disappear with time. More t-shirts here. And this Gundam Military Generation section. I actually haven't heard of Gundam Military Generation before. I guess it's like a sub-brand. But they had some cool merch. Some more t-shirts here. And leaving that area, we're going to walk back through the arcade. This is another section of the arcade. The arcade was very, very big. Unfortunately, no video games, just crank games, but they had a really large selection. I'm going to highlight just a few more before we get to the last area of the store. Really nice Demon Slayer prize here. Very nice looking prize figure. And walking a little bit further, you're going to see some Godzilla. Cute little SD Godzilla. Some more Godzilla on that side. And we're going to see again, we're wrapped around to the One Piece card game area. And I'll give you a little bit of a glimpse of what that setup looks like. Very cool. Lots of tables to play at. And then yes, more and more rows of crane games. We're just going to speed through these here because we've seen quite a few. And we're going to make a right turn here. And there's another section. I'm not quite sure what this section is. I think it's really just showing a display of different prizes that you can win. It's kind of like a museum for all the One Piece prizes. That's what my understanding was. But if you're a big One Piece fan, you're going to be in heaven at this store. I think more than any other franchise, One Piece probably had the biggest presence, which makes sense given how big One Piece is right now. But yeah, I was definitely surprised by the dominance of One Piece over Dragon Ball. I know that in the US, Dragon Ball is definitely like the big one, at least for my generation, but One Piece is One Piece, I think, has even overtaken Demon Slayer, which was, you know, everywhere a couple years ago in Japan, but now it just really feels everything's super One Piece heavy. But yeah, lots and lots of cool One Piece figures. And even more One Piece figures. I need to get around to watching One Piece at some point. I think I watched maybe like the first 20 episodes 1 or 2 times, a few years apart, but I just did not make it much further than that. And I didn't think it was bad. I just fell off for whatever reason. I don't know if you ever watched an anime that, you know, you're thinking, wow, this is really good, but then for whatever reason you just fall off of it. Life gets in the way or whatever. But yeah, that's it for the One Piece figures. And then last but not least, they've got this little cafe here. And yeah, it's just a cute little small cafe where they serve some collab items, and they've got an area in the back where you can sit down, take a break, and enjoy something to eat or drink. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. One quick thing before I go is this store contains the Bandai Gashapon official shop, and it is also connected to the world's largest capsule toy store, which I'm doing a separate video on. It was way too much to include in one video. So definitely stay tuned for that. If the video is out, I will link to it right here. And yeah, guys, I'd love to know what you thought of this store. It was absolutely gigantic. There was so much stuff to go over. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content, definitely consider becoming a channel member. I've got lots of exclusive videos and sneak peeks and behind the scenes stuff in that section. And yeah, it's also a great way to support the channel. If you're interested, just hit that join button on the front of my page. And an extra special shout out to everyone who has joined so far. I really appreciate you guys so much for joining and becoming members. And I also wanted to add, we do have a Discord, and it's a really wonderful community, and there's a bunch of people in there. So if you want to come chat and hang out, there's a link at the top of my YouTube page for that as well. And of course, last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, if you could hit the thumbs up and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had so much fun exploring this store, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.